2.
Well, everybody, welcome to the Truth Stream with Joe and Scott. And Scott, I'll let you take it over from there.
Well, we're here with Nick and Michelle, and Joe has joined me. That one threw me off a little bit. But anyway, I think Nick has something prepared to kind of kick things off, and we'll go from there.
Hi, guys. It's my pleasure as always. Love hanging with you too. And Michelle, you make us guys look terrible. You're beautiful. Love your energy. I love your red room. I have red drapes, which is almost as good, but not quite.
And you've got the flag, so we're
I do. I put the flag up thanks to Michelle and Katie Rain. That was a surprise that we got in the mail the other day, which was fantastic. Yeah, I do. We do have a topic that we really want to kick off. We've been talking about it, kicking it around for at least a couple weeks, probably a little longer. And we feel that after the what now? Are we on YouTube, or are we gonna be on, what are we on here?
Rumble, BitChute. We'll see. We might, with YouTube, we might just put a trailer to introduce the show, because
No,
you just talk clearly.
The November 8th, mess and the Trump speech the other night. We feel that it's time. We need to start talking about things that are completely different, a little bit off base, but very, very simple. And several of us, including Michelle, Katie Rain, the whole group of Hunas, myself, Kevin Hoyt, and several other individuals that we've spoke to that we're not going to name quite yet, because we're just sort of getting into the speaking. Anyway, basically, it's going to be the unification of this group, behind the fact that we're sovereign. Okay, and I want to explain that somewhat thoroughly, because it's important to know what we're talking about here. It is the taking back of the truth. Okay, the truth has always been owned by the cabal. I mean, I think we would all agree upon that since before the beginning of recorded history. Honestly, the truth has always been completely owned and manipulated and monopolized by the cabal. Well, okay. So what's happened here, as far as we know, over the last many, many years, we've been fighting battles against the cabal, both on ground, underground, and in space, with the help of, groups from the galactics and what have you. And we have, according to our understanding and our belief, we have taken them down. We have basically, I don't want to say won the war, but pretty close to won the war. And what's happened is, during this process, we've exchanged our sovereignty from being held by the cabal to now being held by the white hats. Okay, whoever they may be. Let's call them the upper echelon of the Earth Alliance, the group of generals that we don't really know, for the most part. We don't really see. And they've been doing the hard work in the dumbs and the pits, for us, and making the arrests, cleaning out the bad guys, so to speak. But like I said, in the interim, we've sort of just transferred our power from the bad guys to the good guys, and it's starting to drag out a little bit. All right, most of us don't even know what we did, but we did. The whole trust the plan. We have it all. We have every vote. We know where every vote was cast. We know where every body was buried. We have it all. The NSA, the Space Force. We all know these things, right? But we haven't really been privy to much of this. We've been told that they have it all, and we believe it, but it's time for us to take back our power. All right, they're not idols in ivory towers, you guys. They're people, sovereign, just like us. All right. This is what we need to be doing. See, the truth does not belong to the white hats. They do not get to keep and hide the truth like the bad guys. The truth belongs to humanity. It belongs to all of us. And what we simply need to do is stand behind that idea as a group, as unified going forward. We need to let them know that, hey, we finally caught on, you crazy guys. You were fooling us. You were fooling us into just simply giving away our power again, just like we have for 1,000+ years, right? So, respectfully demand the truth be returned. Start delivering the truth to the people of this planet. All right, you don't have to go, and we're not asking to deliver every gory detail all at once, not in the least. But let's start giving the people the truth. Everybody's sick of the lies to a point where we have people just wanting to give up. It's so aversive to be lied to your whole life and know it from the cabal, and then to turn around and be lied to even more by your own team. Okay. And some of the spiritual group thinks it's on purpose in a good way. I want to make this very clear that this is nothing against the white hats. We believe they're being guided by the galactics, because in the universe, in the law of one, you cannot be given your sovereignty. You cannot be given your power. You have to own it and take it. You have to do it yourself, or some say that you lose your blessing. You can't be shown. You have to, well, that's a different story. You can't have it given. You have to take it. You have to own it. You have to know it. So we definitely appreciate everything that's been done behind the scenes. That's hard work. I mean, who can do that other than the Alliance, the Earth Alliance, the groups behind the scenes. So we're not asking this. We know it's a war. Those people that love to come on like Guano Savin, you might come on and say, it's a war, damn it. We're not asking for secret, covert military plans. We don't want to see any of that stuff, so the bad guys would get their hands on it. We don't want that. We need some truths, and they need to come through the mainstream, okay? We don't have the tools, nor have we ever, to wake up the masses. We know that now. We've tried, we've done everything. We've lost family members, friends, our dignity, our jobs, our money, everything. We still hang on to our lives. Yeah, we do. We have our lives, sure, and we're thankful for them. But we don't have any tools left to wake up the billions, okay, that are still soundly asleep. You have the tools. The white hats have it all, including the media. Use it. Start now. We're imploring you guys as our equals to start now. We're not challenging the plan at all. The plan, from what we know, seems pretty solid, but we need everybody to understand, every truther out there, every patriot, every person that isn't asleep, we got to be unified behind this message that we are standing up. We don't need arms. We don't need, these crazy old school protests, that protesting tyranny. That shit is gone. Excuse my language. It's gone. It's all behind the scenes. Everything is going on as optics right now. All right? Optics, and exposing people who are on the inside who don't have the best interest for the common goal. We're exposing those people. Some of them are truthers. Some of them are white hats. Okay. That is exposure disclosure. We're having to weed those people out before we go forward. But all the hard work basically has been done in the war part. Obviously, the rebuilding is going to be very hard as well. I don't want to get that confused, but one last thing before I get off the soapbox is, look, the people who like to say this is war and if we tell the truth, if people find out there's going to be civil war in the street, look, first of all, you don't have a crystal ball. The people saying that are usually the non-spiritual. Secondly, look back in history. Do you know what starts wars? Lies start wars. Truths do not start wars. Every war that you can go back in history and look at was created by lies made up by the cabal to both sides. Okay? Don't tell me about a civil war because we're going to tell the truth. Doesn't work that way. So just wanted to get that out there before all the people, whoever start talking about it'll cause chaos and panic. Everybody's in position. The military's in position. The National Guard is in position to catch the falling. There's not going to be things that are out of control if some of the truth comes out. So that's what I wanted to say tonight. Michelle, we've talked about this in great length, and I want to hear her as well, and we can sort of discuss it among us.
No, I agree with everything you've said, Nick, and it is time for us to demand the truth. Like you said, all the white hats, they have it all. Everything is done. Now everything is just the optics to go along with it. But we as individuals have our unalienable rights. They've never been taken away. We've allowed them we've relinquished them, but we have those. We got those from Creator, and we're always going to have them. But together, we have to demand the truth. Truth is powerful, and that's the only way we can go forward. Up till now, the cabal has written his story. Well, I'm tired of his story. I want the real story. And I think most of us do. And I think it's time for us to stand up and demand it. The other thing is the Galactics are not going to do it for us. The Alliance is not going to do it for us. They want us to take our power back. They want us to stand up and say, hey, this is what's right. This is what we need. And I think that's how we have to go forward, united. And enough of this division where you have superiority and subordination, oppression, get rid of it. We're all equal. We all have an equal voice. We're all, on this plane, we're all human. Let's use our humanity for humanity.
Yeah, it's just watching the progression of all of this, and we've been researching like crazy for years and hanging on, to every little bit of optimism we could find. And we find ourselves in a situation, this blows my mind every day. It just continues to blow my mind. We have this complete invalid pretending to be the president, and his whole entourage, and it just gets more ridiculous every day. I mean, the hammer party at the Pelosi house. It's nuts. You can't write this stuff. And if you did write it, no one would pick up the show because it's too outrageous. And yet this is daily life. We have the biggest protest in the world happening in Brazil again, and it's not even covered on the news. I was over at a client's house and they had the regular news playing, and I never hear it. I mean, I'll always watch clips to try and, get an idea of what's going on, but it's very different when you hear it presented sequentially. And it's just the cadence, the newscaster cadence alone is its own little weird form of magic. And then they give you just all the horror show. I had no idea there were so many stabbings that took place on a Monday. It's just on and on and on. And they'll bring out AOC or someone like that to say something just patently ridiculous, and then that gives them something to talk about and chew on. But it's when we should be talking about far more important things. And I'm just wondering, when is enough enough? I mean, if indeed we do have the truth, if they have it all the evidence, they can stop this at any time. And the only thing that's kept me patient has been the idea that we got to wake up the sleepers. You know, they have to come around to it. You can't just give them this kind of truth. Well, you know, this last year has just gotten ridiculous. So
The sleepers are acquiescing and they're not waking up, and they're not going to wake up.
well,
The only thing that might wake them up is the truth.
I agree 100%. And what's worse, you know, and Nick and I were talking about it a little bit before the show, that you know, I have a friend that he's just decided to scrap the whole thing for the most part. You know, I mean, his whole belief in this paradigm of white hats or any kind of heroic figures working behind the scenes, he's just decided it's total bullshit. And I'm hearing more and more people getting discouraged right into that same position where they just, you know, they're giving up. And I don't see that as being productive. So, you know.
Well, Scott, you're absolutely right. There are very high profile people that are on the verge of giving up.
Yeah.
You get a few of those, and that dominoes, and we lose. Look, right now at this point in time, trust is dangerously being challenged by this withholding of any semblance of truth, okay, by the group that is in charge. Are they the white hats? I think so. I don't know. As far as we know, and this trust is being dangerously fractured, in my opinion. And now, now or never. We put this thing back. We glue this thing back under the unification of truth and sovereign beings. We're all equal. Those people at the top of the white hat group are no better. They have no more right to keep this truth from us and humanity, period. They have no more right to it than we do, okay? And this is the only thing left. All the other 3D methods of getting this thing to the finish line have been exhausted, okay? That includes protests, traditional old school protests. Those guys, the people we would be gathering to protest against are gone. They're not even there. They're not there. Okay. So we need to think ahead. And Scott is absolutely right that the very fabric of trust in our own internal groups is being challenged. And once those dominoes start falling in the wrong direction, man, evil's going to start coming back, biting at the heels. I feel it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a critical point right now, I think. But yeah, if ignored, I'm feeling the backslide. You know, it's sort of like the undertow when you're swimming out in the surf, and then you just feel that pull. That's what it feels like right now.
So I guess my question is, it's what do we do, and what do they do? So what, I mean, there's different things. So what's the next best step for either you know, side, if you will? Any suggestions from either of you guys to start with?
Which of the sides, the truthers?
Well, either the truthers and we the people. That's one group, and then there's the white hats. And it sounds like what you're saying for them is they need to start putting the truth on mainstream television.
They watch everything. They're watching this now.
Right.
They watch and they know everything. We don't need a great big, what we need is what we're doing. Okay. And then the next video with 4 other people, and then 8, and then 16. You know, and you don't have to make a whole video about this topic, but it has to be, in my opinion, we have to unify behind something. The unification is the one thing that has been missing by a mile in our movement. Everybody wants to talk about their own stuff, their own personal stuff. What's Nick Sylvester doing? What book am I going to sell today? You know, those things are taking away from this movement, you guys. Plain and simple. You
And
know,
basically, all we need is the truth. We do need the truth, but like Nick said, on your platform, now it goes out. Now maybe we get on another platform, you get on another platform, and it just starts multiplying exponentially where it gets out around the universe.
it could take a week, 2 weeks. It's no big deal. It's a very simple thing. It's just a matter of somebody hearing what we're talking, because nobody really has really talked too much about this before, you know, and it's not like some brilliant idea at all. But our groups, our galactic, our spiritual, our Huna groups have been being told through different channels, through dreams, through visions, through feelings. We've been being told that this is the piece that's been missing. They can't come right out and say, hey, dumbasses, you got to get your sovereignty, because they're not going to give it to you. That would ruin the blessing. So we're being given hints. And then the hints over time, they become like an irritation, an aggravation. And we've been needing to put this out to the universe. And like I said, it doesn't belong to anyone, but we believe that it's something that we need to all get behind and just tell the white hats we're done. The plan is done now. Roll the truth out. Start today. Each day, roll something out. Pick something interesting. Put it on the freaking news, and the people are not going to jump off buildings. They're going to handle it just like we can. And if they can't, we'll be there to back them up.
The whole point is, like the white hats have always said, we have it all. It's done. It's a done deal. Like I said, right now it's just optics. Why are we focusing so much on the optics? We don't need to focus on the optics anymore. Now we need to get it to the next level and take it up. And yes, we are all sovereign. Let's claim it again. And let's get everybody else to claim it.
I like that.
So having the conversation is the first step, and having it often and loudly.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Absolutely.
Do you see anything actionable beyond that, or do you think that we'll just handle this incrementally?
I think
honestly,
you have to do it incrementally and let it just go forward and see where it takes us.
well,
I mean, the word is getting out and they're hearing us. And as long as they hear us and the more voices they hear, I think the truth will start coming out.
Just break it down just briefly. Think of if we get almost every, you don't need every single, if we get a great deal of the truthers, how many collective people listen to every single truther? How many people are going to sit and say they disagree with the truth, with hearing the truth? Yeah. You know, that's the problem, because a lot of things, when people are talking about, oh, the earth is round. No, it's not. The earth is flat. No, it's not. You know, there's 13 universes. No, there's 8. You know, there's so many things that people can disagree on and agree on that it skews any type of a reasonably large group all agreeing on the same thing. That's part of our problem. That's the reason there's so many distractions. It creates 1,000 groups, right? And each little group wants to talk about each little thing. You get one thing that everyone agrees on. We want the truth. Sure. We don't want to be lied to anymore. And everyone says it. All of a sudden, you can get to 7-8 billion people relatively quickly. That's my point. It's not going to take a monumental effort, in my opinion. And then we go from there, see what happens. The white hats will respond.
And that's the one thing, Nick, that you brought up. Who can argue with the truth? Everybody wants the truth. For every other aspect or topic, there's debate. There's no debate. People want truth.
Liars don't like the truth.
Well, that's true. But we don't care about them. They can stay with the cabal.
this whole
What's left of it.
paradigm, this whole human paradigm, and I think it's safe to say it's global at this point. We're watching it all over the world. Of course, you won't catch it on local, media, legacy media. You have to really hunt for it, but it's broken. It's beyond repair. There's no fixing this by any conventional means. So, how long is this going to go on? I'm reminded of a conversation that Judge Napolitano had with Donald Trump, and this was regarding the D-class of the JFK file.
Oh, yeah.
And remember that we were getting all excited. It's finally going to come out. Been waiting my whole life to hear this information. And Trump had advocated for its release for a long time. Well, they're having this conversation. Napolitano asked him about it, and he says, "I can't do it." And the judge is like, "What? Why can't you? Have to?" He said, "If you knew what was in there, you'd understand. I can't do it." And their friendship, I think, pretty much ended over that conversation. It just kind of makes me wonder if this feels like that, just the promise of the unfolding of the truth, and in the absence of any clear reason why, it's just being withheld. It's torture.
Well, let's look at that, because it's a very, very real scenario, because you take out the cosmics, you take out and all you have left, let's just say, are retired generals, active generals, all the military branches. You have some of the politicians, cabinet members. You have high-end naval intel, all at the top of this, let's say, echelon. Well, there are people in those groups that could indirectly be implicated in some of these crimes.
Mhm.
Look at it this way. There could be people that don't want a deal of the truth coming out. So what do you do about that? That's been one of the biggest problems in that group, in that echelon, that what percentage of the truth are we going to tell? How much are we going to hold back? Because that could implement, General Jones over here and, Admiral, Vice Admiral Kelly over on that side of the room. The public could implicate them. They could blame them based on their activities 30 years ago. That's been going on. So what do we do about that? And it has been causing problems. And indirectly, I'm sure that's slowing things up. What do you guys think about that? What do we do? Just pick, I mean, I'm okay with, give me 20 or 30% of the truth. Stick it on mainstream media. 5% a day. I don't know. I think we would be happy just getting this ball rolling and then going from there. We're not asking for, Jimmy Hoffa and all of his crap. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
No, I think just start somewhere. We have to have a slow drip that's better than the drip that's going on right now, a little bit faster. But no, they don't have to give all the truth at this point, but eventually they will have to come up with it. And yes, there are going to be some of those guys that are implicated. And hopefully they'll have to go through their own judicial traumas and military or whatever tribunals that they have to do. But give the truth that's going to affect the majority of humanity, that's going to help humanity. And there's enough truth out there that doesn't have to implicate those higher echelon generals that are conducting the war for us on our behalf. And let's face it, the White Hats, in order to defeat the cabal, you have to infiltrate them. So some of them have done some evil things, but to the means to what end? And it's been for the betterment of all of us. So I can forgive them for that if it's for the greater good. But let's get the truth out. Let's start getting the truth out, and we have to demand our sovereignty. And we have to claim it because we have it. We just need to claim it. We don't have to relinquish it anymore.
We're seeing some of the truth in some ways, like the elections are fake, and they always have been. The problem is we already knew that. We're watching it again. We're watching a lot of repeats, and maybe that's maybe that's just so that people will finally come around. You know, maybe people were on the fence with the last election, and this election really is driving it home. I don't know, but I think what we're talking about is something a little more revealing than that.
Well, FTX is
Well,
It's a great point. FTX is a massive upheaval. You know, you look at this bullshit performative lawsuit from the SEC against Ripple. Come to find that Gary Gensler is has some pretty strange bedfellows with the FTX folks, and that the world is seeing this now. They're seeing the corruption and so on.
But how many does it really affect? We've got to get it to the point where we're exposing the truths to the majority of people.
Right.
And even the vote, yeah, we see that it was ridiculous, and we saw it ridiculous 2 years ago as well. So 2 times over. But the majority of people aren't seeing that. The people that I was talking with today, it goes right over their head. Oh no, it's okay. Everything is good.
do you want to
Nothing has really changed. They're complacent. Pardon?
I'll tell you my theory about the prior election. My theory is it was rigged exactly perfectly to present a relative nothing burger for both sides.
Yeah.
On purpose. There was just enough craziness to keep us on the edge of our seat, and there was just enough completely normalness to not ruffle the feathers of any normie.
Yep.
That's what it was. Just like Trump's speech, and the speech before that, and the speech before that. That is, it is a perpetual filibuster is what's going on right now. Perpetually filibustering, wasting time, neither here nor there, waiting for us to get our shit together.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds too outlandish to be true, but it is true. And we need to do this.
Oh, go ahead.
We need to do this.
No, it's up to us. We've got to do it, and that's what they're waiting for. They're waiting for us to demand the truth, demand our sovereignty. The election, they have all that information. They've had it. They don't need us to bring it up. They don't need the MSM to bring it up. What they need is for us to stand up and say enough is enough. We need the truth. We need all the truths. And that doesn't include just the vaccine, the so-called vaccine, the COVID, all the patents that have been delivered to us over the years. What we need are real truths that people can actually see. Okay, and yes, they're going to have to identify what's been going on in the dumps. They're going to have to show all of the irregularities, all the cabal control, the central bank. They have to show all that. And right now, they're just hiding it all. And we don't need it to be hidden from us anymore. We see it, but the normies don't.
Right. So on that topic, so Nick, if you were a newscaster or you were delivering the truth, what topics would you pick that you'd want to start with for humanity? Or what would you want to say? What do you feel should be the starting point for this? If you were to say, hey, white hats, can you start here? Is there anywhere you would suggest starting? So since they might be listening to this.
I'll tell you that is really a good question. I've thought about it for a long time, and it's like each day I change my mind and say, well, maybe this would be better, or maybe this. You know, there's some very, very delicate treading to be done on the whole C-19, injectable topic. I mean, that topic is life and death, current life and death. I would struggle to start there because, like I said, people are still dying. People just died yesterday, the day before, and tomorrow. That is a difficult one to attack, and I don't know how I would go about it yet. So I'm going to leave that one. Oh, I would definitely expose the real proof on these ridiculous elections. I would expose companies that have been involved in buying these illegal elections since God knows how long. I would expose things like what really happened in 9/11 21 years ago. Things that are in the past, but they will quickly open people's eyes. What happened in Benghazi? What happened in Hillary Clinton's camp? You know what I mean? Who is Joe Biden? Who is his son? You know, things like that, where if people decide to go lynch him, you know, we'll just make the fake one disappear and say he died, you know, already or something. You know, things that start making people really wake up. You know, they don't need right off the bat to know some of the really cruel situations with the kids, but the top layers of the human child trafficking have got to be breached. All right. Not yet on the dirty nasties, but the top layers have got to be breached. There's this many that get taken every year, and here is absolute proof. And we also know that these governments were involved or something like that. Things like that. That's the best I could just off the top of my head go to. There are many more answers.
The other
that-
place,
that
but I
be
would,
good.
the other place I think they would be good because it hits people in their pockets is the Federal Reserve, the IRS, and where your tax money has been going to fund all the child and human trafficking.
Bingo.
Beautiful.
And a
Beautiful.
perfect example of that is how it was just funneled over to Ukraine and then made it circle right back to Democrat coffers and God only knows where else. You know, we're talking $90 billion. And there's this interesting post that I read. The post was something to the effect of, you know, the president of the United States is currently being investigated for human trafficking, and you won't see a word of it uttered on the news.
No.
So really, we're kind of back to that whole media being the gatekeepers, and really the flip side of that is people being too damn stupid to realize that they're being lied to. I mean, why would anyone waste any more time with the media? Most of us stopped watching mainstream years ago, but why is anyone looking for answers in a place where there are none?
But the normies, that's what they refer to. They are going to work. They're working all day. They come home, they throw their feet up on the couch, and they turn on the idiot box. They've been indoctrinated from the time they were young kids just to use that as a babysitter and to believe everything that's on there. One of my neighbors, we were talking about the football games being fixed. He says, no, those aren't fixed. It's that, I mean, but they're so indoctrinated with it, they're not going to look any different. So that is the best place for it to start. And the white hats have control of the MSM right now. It's time for them to start using it to deliver the truths, because those people that are the couch potatoes, they're going to look at it. And you can't fault the people because the people have been brainwashed all their lives. And the schools indoctrinated them, the TV's indoctrinated them. You know, we were talking the other day, 20 years ago, you could get a refrigerator for $200. The TV was $200. Today, that refrigerator is $3,000. The TV is still $200. So it's been television. You know, it's where they've been indoctrinating, and it's not going to change. But use it. Now we have it, or the white hats have it, where they can use it to the benefit of the normies and everyone else.
That's
Go ahead, Nick.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I do believe that's part of the plan. I do believe we're at the point where we are going to see more. It feels like it, but I know it does need to happen. But it does feel like there's these, like the FTX. And I'm wondering if Jen Psaki's circle back, that she was trying to put that in the subconscious for people to realize the monetary system, to go, to come to go over there and circle back.
Like
so,
a Bill Gates charity.
Right.
Yeah, it just goes right back to him.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, Nick, please go ahead. If there was something.
Now I damn near forgot.
Oh.
But what I was one of the things I was wanting to say is regarding oh man, I can't remember. Now you got me stumped. Now I was laughing at Jen Psaki. Circle back.
I know.
My brain shut off. Oh,
Well, we were talking about television.
No, I know that's why at no time have I ever believed, and people will hate this, but I've never believed the whole EBS thing. I've never been able to see it. I've never been able to make it real into my mind. I don't think that the White Hats would ever go to that extreme level. I mean, talk about shocking people to death. There won't be a EBS like we think there was. That whole thing was, all of that stuff was designed for us to keep us locked in, to keep us waiting, to keep us at the edge of our seat. And yeah, it was a freaking trick. A lot of this is a trick for us to do what we're doing now. And I hate every second of saying it and thinking it and knowing it, but a lot of these things were tricks to keep us enthused, to keep us moving forward, and at the same time to keep us to entice us to give away our power.
Yeah, we've done it.
Because they need us to knowingly, that's the key, knowingly take it back. Okay? And that's what I think is going on right now, you guys. And that's just one person, one opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. I just don't think I am.
And it's not just one person. There's a lot of us out there that feel the same way. And you've got 4 of us right here.
Remember the movie Network? It was 1976 or something like that. Great, I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. It's that.
Oh,
moment.
I remember that part.
Yeah, that it's an iconic moment in cinema. It's great, but and that was a news anchor, lost his shit, just decided mad as hell, and I'm not. And he didn't have the answers. He just knew the first step is I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. And I think that's kind of where we've arrived. At least that's the moment I think Nick is having right now.
I think we've evolved past the mad. I think we're advanced as hell, and we're ready to move to the next level.
That's a good...
We've seen through the matrix. We've progressed through the 3D. We know the things that don't work. We know that the corporation wasn't even legal to begin with, and it was a corporation. So we should know, let's not go backwards. Let's not go into the rules and regulations and red tape of the no longer functioning corporation to try to beat them at their own game that they won't let us because they make the rules. So I think that we're beyond that stuff, you guys, at this point in time. We should be on the whole, let's beat them at their own game, and let's go into the political system, and let's become elected officials. That doesn't even exist anymore. Behind the scenes, the political system has already devolved. They're removing it. We're going, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm guys are saying. So, yeah, we are mad as hell, and we're not going to take it anymore. But we're doing it. We're doing it in a 5D way, without emotion. Emotion's not really necessary. We've just reached the point where we finally get it, and we say, "Aha! The one thing we haven't tried yet." You know, but I don't know.
What just happened to the volume?
Oh, it was his microphone, I think.
Yeah, your
Okay.
microphone's fritzing a little bit there, Nick.
But Michelle, yours is working really well if you want to use it.
It always does.
No, I agree with Nick there. I mean, there's no sense. The election is with a defunct corporation. So why are we still dealing with that? Let's go to the 5D. Let's move forward. It's time to move beyond the corporation and go to the republic and move to the 5D area.
Agreed. Couldn't agree more.
So
What else, you guys? What else you got? What other topics that you want to maybe try to breach if you had some?
well, first of all, your microphone went from sounding, your deep voice that you do sound now like kind of a Mickey Mouse version of yourself.
It's like a robot that sucked down
Yes.
some helium. I just checked the connection. It might
Did
have pulled
something
out a
go in
little.
front of it? I don't know.
Might be the connection.
Well,
Everything's the same.
the lollipop killed, the lollipop killed.
Howdy doody time.
I don't know what to do.
Well, I guess we can still hear you, so that's a good.
And we're enjoying the new Nick.
Yeah, it's the new it's you, Nick.
Wait a minute. That doesn't sound.
Uh-oh. I didn't think he wanted to be a eunuch.
We were going for unique, but you ended up
Yeah,
with
unique.
eunuch.
Yeah, so-
Unicorn, but not a eunuch.
Thank you, white hats. I appreciate it.
Brian Skelser was fired a while ago. There's no eunuchs.
Oh gosh.
He
Well-
wants to be a unicorn instead.
There you go.
Well, now Lewis did announce the next phase of the Truth Tour today. That's going to be a tour primarily on the West Coast, but people can chime in and not chime in. People can log in and be part of it. Have you guys dug into it a little bit? Because he's open to as the dates are there, but he's open to certain components of it that could be enhanced or open to our suggestions. Is there anything at this point, without having delving into it too much, that you see as being a valid tool that could help in that program?
Well, I'm thinking that.
Go ahead, Michelle.
I'm
What's
sorry.
that?
I said, go ahead, Michelle. I
Oh,
haven't delved into it. I don't really know anything yet.
yeah, I just saw his little 4-minute, plug as to what he's doing, and it is going to be on the West Coast. The only thing that I would suggest is doing pretty much what we were talking about right here, is getting the word out that, hey, we're sovereign. Let's not delve on all of the things that have happened in the past that are part of the corporation. Let's move on to getting the truth, and let's take our sovereignty. And hopefully that he'll do that with the group of truthers that are with him. I know it's going to be mostly on the West Coast, but if every one of them takes the same stand and you get 10 people to do 10 more, it'll just blossom, and it'll be an exponential amount of people that are on the same page as we. And then maybe the normies will start hearing the truth and they'll listen to it. But I really think that the white hats need to start putting the information out on the MSM, because that's what the normies watch. They watch that CNN, they watch NBC. By the way, today I did see on the internet that NBC actually admitted that the C19, or the so-called vaxes, the jabs, were causing myocarditis. And that was the first time I had seen that.
It's already working.
Okay.
Hey, your mic's working too.
Yeah, your mic's work. So that's what I'm saying. Like, there's some of this, we're starting to see some of this rolling out in the mainstream. And I've talked to Scott about that a couple of years ago, I guess a year and a half ago, that it's gonna have to come from there, because otherwise people hear us and they're like, oh, that's not on the real news yet. So once it gets in the real news, then they're gonna believe it. So we are starting to see a little bit of that shift happening. Maybe it's not as fast as some of us would like, but at least it's starting to happen, like something like that. So that's good to hear.
Let me ask you guys a question. Like, what wheel do we need to reinvent here, right? What the hell is it we're doing? The white hat, they have everything. They could change the world in a blink of the eye. They need, okay, look, They need us to be there unified
Mhm.
when they do. You understand?
Right.
There's going to be tons and tons of people that need our help, that need our tutelage, that need to be able to explain the things that they're shown by the white hats on the news. What are they going to do? Call up the White House? Somebody explain this to me. See, and since we can't be unified, and since we can't get out of our egos, they cannot deliver the truth. So this is killing one bird or two birds with one stone. We get our asses unified in regards to this, the truth, releasing the truth back to humanity. It shows them that we're able to get together for a greater good, greater than ourselves, or selling books or, courses, which isn't terrible or anything, but it's not getting us where we're wanting to go, right? Selling that extra mug or a extra t-shirt. So that's what I'm trying to say. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We need to show that we're going to be the teachers of the future, the leaders, if need be, because we're going to need to wean into this thing. There's going to need to be leaders until everybody gets on board with the sovereignty, understands that we're all equal. We don't need to bow to any exalted ruler, tell me what I should do. None of that's necessary. But it will take time to get everyone up to speed. That's what we need to be here for. Okay? That's what we need to do.
Well, that's after the fact, though, and we will be there, and that's when we're really going to be needed, is to help those understand that they've been lied to, because we know already, we're aware of it, but they're not. The normies are not, and we will stand up and help them to adjust, because it's going to be a huge rude awakening with some of the truths that do come out. But in the meantime, the truth has to come out.
Yeah, and we're relatively new, our channel, and and I will just throw, we don't even really say like, subscribe, share, all that stuff, because we're we're appealing to, I believe, an intelligent audience, and we're not trying to, say come here and do this and buy that. We're here for humanity. We have enough to get by barely right now, because we're doing this for what we feel are the right reasons, so we can have guests like you guys on. We're called TruthStream, well, for a couple reasons. One is we want the truth and we have Airstreams, but we're not called mainstream, we're not called lie stream, and we don't exactly know. We're learning this together. We're not coming in like we're the gurus, but we're here for unity and for conversation and to learn. We're not, whatever the shape the world is, or all that kind of stuff, we don't exactly know. And as far as a lot of our guests, what's the word that we say, except we agree with these two, we may not necessarily.
Oh, well, yeah, that should go without saying, but we probably do need to find print somewhere.
Yeah.
The views of our guests are not necessarily the views of the show,
Right,
for Joe and I.
right. But with you,
well, we have a variety. We have quite a variety.
yeah, and we want to keep quite a variety. We've had a woman named Veda Austin on that talks about the beauty of water and how water is affected by energy. We've had a gentleman on that talks about hydrogen, Greg the hydrogen. So we have a wide variety of guests because we're all learning this together, and so we're here for this. And so whatever role we can play, we're coming from a place where we're just trying to help people understand and to learn the truth. And so I'm just putting that out there, if the white hats are listening, that we're part of this, and we want to help other people, maybe inspire them to do shows as well. And so that's the goal of this show, just so people know that's what we're getting to. So.
Well, I think we're all here equally. We're just here as humans talking, and we're here for the betterment of all humanity. And we're not trying to be better or less than anyone else. We're just friends chatting, but looking out for the better of all humanity.
Yeah.
It's about having a
I've-
conversation for sure. And what's interesting is it's so much easier to have these conversations when you don't have Pfizer sponsoring the show, and there's a list of criteria, things you can and can't say. And that's true of, look at any big sports event or whatnot. It's almost always a pharmaceutical sponsor. Most of the mainstream media, pharmaceutical sponsors. And these are companies that their roots are in Nazi Germany. I mean, IG Farben and the Pfizer, and you can look it up. Bayer, and many of them have done really horrible criminal things and gotten away with it because of the influence they've had as sponsors. But anyway, I'm
Because we've
spiraling.
been lied to.
Of course,
We don't need to be lied to anymore. We just tell the truth and
we want to
get everybody else to start telling the truth.
we want to believe there's this, and I say we in the humanity sense of it all. We want to believe that there's some sort of an authority. When things don't make sense, there's somewhere we can go to get that truth. And then we've got a Sean Hannity or someone to tell us. But how's that working out?
Well, and don't they sign entertainment contracts? Like they don't,
Yeah.
right? I mean, they don't. We don't
They're
have a
hecklers.
we work for ourselves, and we're for we the people. We're not beholden to anybody, and we never will be. I can't be bought. None of that shit, frankly. So that's what we're here for. So
We the
I just
people.
want, yeah,
We the people, and that's all we want. We want we the people to receive what we the people should have, our unalienable rights. And
Yeah,
that's
you
what I
guys-
think we're all fighting for, is just to do best for all of us.
That's the thing that a lot of people don't even, it's not about, they don't comprehend this. They haven't even thought of it because we've been in this so long, so deep. We know that every single system that was put into this world was put for a reason. Everything by the cabal and the people who the cabal rule. Our matrix, okay, our illusion was designed by these people and entities for different types of control, okay, different ways to put the rat through the maze to get different outcomes that they want at different times for different reasons. Everything, every school, games, shows, music, jobs, military, everything. The government systems, the three-letter agencies, everything was designed by the cabal. We have got to get used to not trying to pull the 5D back into the cabal created construct. You understand? We've got to do the opposite. We've got to pull the souls out of the cabal created construct. And we can't think that we can use the old rules in the new game. And I know that's somewhat esoteric and all, but it really is super simple.
And we got to bring them up, not us down. We've been there. We're not going backward. We have to go forward and upward.
It's just like the RV. Everybody wants, what they want to do is they just want to get rich and bring it back to their 3D world and impress their 3D friends and buy 3D things, right? And be a big fish in a little pond. But that is not what it's for. It's to free humanity. It's to remove the constraints of what the cabal has put into place, right? It's to give everyone freedom, safety, shelter, comfort, to progress in their soul progression, rather than grinding away, missing their family every single day of their lives and having zero spiritual improvement. Zero. Because they can't. There's no time. There's no energy. It's all by design. And we must simply understand that. And then things start falling away. We start understanding more and more and more.
With the truth, you lose the control. And and that gives people more freedom. They've lost the enslavement, and then there's more prosperity for everybody. And yes, I'm so tired of hearing about this RV. Let things fall where they may. We can't hear you again, Nick.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's intentional.
I thought he was trying to talk and I couldn't hear him.
Yeah, Joe and I were having this conversation yesterday, kind of about remaining patient with everything. And, you know, I could probably be sold on continuing to be patient on one level or another, but I think the big concern is that we're seeing, and this is a point I've made already, but I kind of want to emphasize, there's a backslide. You know, people are really pulling away from this idea of improvement because it's not comfortable. So what becomes comfortable? Doom. At least it's something that you know, I mean, it's tangible. You can see it, you know, every time Biden takes the podium or every time Zelensky gets another $1 billion or whatever. It's just, it's going in the shitter, you know. I mean, that you can affirm. You got ground to stand on. And I think that's the appeal, because everything else is so nebulous. Everything else is just, I mean, talk about living in strange times. And then you've got people that are caught up in this whole normie paradigm where if you tell them anything, you know, the shot might be bad for you. It's like, well, what are your sources? You know, I read this article where, well, what are your sources? And I always say, well, you show me a decent source anymore. There's no such thing. There's no such. They've all lied to you, all of them, repeatedly. Serial liars,
Including
and you want their stamp of approval in order to interpret this information. Otherwise, you can't be bothered.
Including NPR, which lulls you to sleep, and it sounds so official.
Especially NPR.
Well, it's just, I mean, because NPR, it's like, oh, NPR's got to be good. No, it's not.
Well, it's government sponsored.
God,
that doesn't help. But
no,
yeah.
but
You
you know,
know,
I know people that buy into NPR. So
The other thing
my
that's a little frustrating.
my dad told me the other day, he's just like, it can't be on TV unless it's true. That it's just, he said, I said, why not? He said, well, they won't allow it. I said, okay, well, who's they? Well, you know, the people in charge. Who? The government? Who's the one? Statistics can't be manipulated. They have to be honest. The COVID statistics, they can't be made up. They won't, that's not allowed. That's not, see, there are people, my dad has 2 PhDs. There are very, very intelligent people that have been lied to so frequently that they will believe a concept that is absolutely ridiculous. Like, you can't have lies on TV. And they are out there, because I just talked to one. That is what we're fighting against.
Well,
I don't know how else to paint it.
Well, what else is I've been seeing? It's not just the normies. Now it's people that were believing that we're going to move forward and things are going to get better. Now I'm hearing some of them saying, oh, it's just a psyop. Everything's going to stay the same way it always is. So they're giving up. And that's what we cannot afford to do, is to lose more than we already have lost. So we've got to really do something to make that change. And I think the only way to do it is to get more people broadcasting and to get the white hats to listen to us and start dripping.
Well,
They will.
TV, so that they learn, because that's the
They
only thing.
want to. Do you think, I mean, do you think they want to live, they're going to live their life this way with fake Joe Biden? I mean, how long do you think fake Joe Biden wants to play that role? You know what I mean?
He definitely deserves an Oscar for his performance. Who's ever playing him right now?
There are.
My gosh, is he great?
So I truly think they're waiting. They're waiting for us to get our shit together and be able to move forward with this freaking project.
Well,
and if I'm wrong, what do? We got unified. If I'm wrong, or if we're wrong, it's not like it's my idea, but we're just happening to be talking about it. You know, everyone's thought about it, I'm sure. But it's somewhat controversial. Who wants to step on the toes of the white hats? I don't. And I'm not. They want us to do this. They want us to take back our sovereignty and demand the truth for humanity. That's who it's owed. That's who was lied to, right?
Yeah, they've been
That's what
wanting
we're
us
going to
to
do.
act. They've been wanting us to act. So this is a
Well,
start. Guys, you guys are great and at least having the platform to put this forward and so appreciated.
well, thank you. And hey, if the white hats, I know Nick is privy to some good intel. If the white hats want to start feeding Nick the info and Nick comes on our show, we're down to do that. Same with you. I do know, I listen to And We Know. I love LT. I listen to Mary from We the People News. She has some great stuff on there. So, and if you go to the We the People News, it's a Rumble channel. And if you do in her notes, and here's something I want to let people know. If you're on your Rumble app, right? And you look under description, you're not going to see anything at all on your mobile. You have to be on the desktop version site. So when I spend a lot of time posting the description and the links and where to find information on guests, now you may not find that about Nick because he doesn't really tell people that right now, but like a lot of the links you can't. So what I'm saying is you need to look up our descriptions on the actual desktop version, because why would I want to have these interviews and I've looked it up on And We Know and not put anything in the descriptor? I mean, that would just be rude. So I'm letting you guys know, we're on BitChute and you can find all the links there. You can find the links on, underneath on Rumble on the desktop. And YouTube, I'm not, we'll put like information on there to get people over to this channel, but that's really not a place, because I don't want to lose another channel. I've already gotten my local channel, the Reflection Pool. So when people see the name, TruthStream is Scott and I, Reflection Pool is my Washington State type of podcast. But I already got my first channel taken down. I'm pretty sure my music video got Nick Alvear's YouTube channel taken down because he shot it, and it is what it is. So anyway, we're doing the best we can. We're here to share this and deliver news, but I mean, you guys are just awesome to have on the show. There's no ulterior motive. There's no hidden agenda. You're not selling an encyclopedia from 1975, like, back. But so anyway, you guys have been awesome. So Michelle, go ahead. What do you got there?
Oh no, I was just going to say, here's a pyramid.
No, I've told many people since the tour that you two are fantastic conversationalists. You guys are. It's amazing how you have a combination of knowledge and willingness to gain more. And I've said it before, and that's a thing that most people do not have. Great amount of knowledge, but the desire and the lack of ego to absorb other knowledge that they may not have. And that is why you need to stick with guys like this. That's why I like to talk to guys like this. And it's a quality that we're all moving towards, and people are going to start learning how little they really know. The information of the universe is literally just outside of our fingertips. It's the beginning of discernment, and it's the activation and the access to the Akashic records. We're all very close to being able to access those all the time. We get bits and pieces all the time, the spiritual group, the cosmic groups, the groups that are closer to Q and whatnot. And the information is so mind-boggling. I mean, I don't even know what to tell you. I need 10 heads to fit most of it in. So there's a lot of cool stuff coming. Do not get distracted. Do not get brought down. It's all psyops. Q is fake, No, none of that. Every single thing that we think has happened in the background has happened in the background. It's just a matter of, we can't be given these gifts. We have to take them. It's as simple as that. As simple as a vampire can't come into your home unless he's invited. I mean, he could, but it would break the universal vampire rule, right? So we can't. It's the same thing in the universe, the same thing in the law of one. There are universal laws that all beings follow, just like karma. Karma absolutely exists. It's an energetic construct of the universe. It's sort of like energy can't be just created or destroyed. It simply changes form. That's basically what karma is. It's a ripple put into the universe, and it's going to come back in a different form. So just don't give up. There's no gloom and doom. Everything is every bit as good as we thought it was. Okay. But we simply have to get to that end where we take what is ours. And that starts with the truth. And then comes abundance, because it's right at the end of our fingertips. That's how close. Everything is exactly in play. All of that stuff has basically already happened. It's just a matter of telling everybody, here's your abundance. Go do the right thing. You've met the qualifications, and the galactics they'll give the nod of approval. It appears that they know what the shit they're doing now. Instead of like before, they were running around with chickens with their heads cut off. Now it appears that we're ready. That's the message from me.
Well, Nick, first of all, thank you. Much appreciated. In closing, because we are at about that time, Michelle, is there anything you would like to say? And that was very well put, Nick. Thank you.
No, I think Nick covered everything really well. I just appreciate the conversation that we were able to have. And yes, we just have to stay united, and it's we, the people, we've got to do it. And we just need to claim our sovereignty and say, hey, we're ready. Thank you very much, White Hats, for all that you have done. Now it's up to us to finish it off.
Scott, anything in closing?
Well, I mean, how could I end on anything better than that?
There we go.
So,
all right, guys, we love you.
Love you.
Appreciate
Humble.
it. We'll chat soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bye, guys.
have a good
Bye.
night.